Hey everyone, since Nikola is losing so much money on the bottom line, I think many investors are concerned how much longer it can sustain itself. Well, in this video, I'm going to answer that question based on what Nikola management told investors in their most recent update. So let's get right into it. So as of the beginning of July, the company maintained total access of approximately $743 million and believe that they have adequate cash on the balance sheet to sustain themselves until 2024. So they've got some ways to go before they're going to need to raise more money. But the good news is that yesterday, or the day before this announcement was made, the company got approval from shareholders to increase the number of authorized shares of their common stock. So if they need to, they can raise more cash by selling more stock. But now, the benefit with their recent cost cutting initiatives is that they're no longer in an emergency mode where they need to desperately sell their stock to raise cash, which can lead to them getting a lower price on that stock, right? So now that they're not in a desperate situation, they can opportunistically sell those shares to raise capital whenever their stock price rises or stays elevated for a while. They can be opportunistic about it. And here's another point of good news that came out of this update is that they anticipate being EBITDA neutral by the end of 2025. Now, if you don't know what EBITDA stands for, it's earnings before interest, taxes, and depreciation, and is usually a proxy or a close approximation of cash flow, right? Are you positive cash, even or negative cash during your operation? So the fact that they're planning optimistically to be EBITDA neutral by the end of 2025. So that leaves a short bridge between 2024, beginning of 2024 and the end of 2025, well, where they need to sustain themselves from outside resources, from investors giving them money, and then if they can make it to the end of 2025, they think they can sustain themselves on their own since then. But they think they're going to need approximately $600 million of additional capital to fully fund the business and achieve profitability. So, in that bridge that I talked about between early 2024 and the end of 2025, management believes they need $600 million to bridge that gap from the outside, from investors, either through selling stock, selling a convertible bond, borrowing money, whatever the case might be, 600 million on top of what they have access to right now. So that's the bridge they need to gap in order to get to profitability. And from my estimations, even with this stock increase, it doesn't look like it will be enough unless the stock price increases from here. So that's something I'm going to keep an eye out for, and I will be updating Nikola investors on that front. So for the third quarter, the company expects truck deliveries to be between 60 and 90 trucks for truck revenue of about 18 million to 28 million, which will generate a gross profit margin of negative 165% to negative 110% in that range, which even the bottom end of that range of negative 165% would be an improvement from the second quarter where they were negative over 180%. So incrementally, they're making progress reducing those losses on the bottom line, which is taking steps towards that goal to be EBITDA neutral by the end of 2025. The company is also expecting to deliver approximately 300 to 400 trucks for the full year, with total revenue between 100 million and 130 million, with gross margin of negative 110% to negative 85%. So for the full year, they're expecting to make another incremental step forward on their losses in terms of gross margin and getting there to eventually be neutral and hopefully in the longer run be profitable on the bottom line. So there you have it. Nikola says it has enough cash to sustain itself to 2024, EBITDA neutral by the end of 2025, and to bridge that gap, management thinks it needs $600 million of additional funding. But that's all I've got for this video. Thank you so much for watching. I want to thank the Motley Fool for sponsoring this video. Visit fool.com/Parkev for the 10 best stocks to buy now.